There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Oh, what's up? Welcome into this post-game pod edition of the Program Guys podcast. Mason Prince, Patrick Kurtzberger, Mark Hall with you today. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Find us on all of our social media at Program Guys with a Z on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. That's where you can find us. Oklahoma wins it 59-14. First win in a while. It was a win. Don't apologize for winning. Maybe apologize for winning against an FCS team, but still win the game. You're one step closer to bowl eligibility, which is a sad place to be where we're at right now. But honestly, vibes are good. It felt to me, guys, like the definition of a get right game. Didn't start that way. They had me ready to tweet some things, and I took a breath, and I was like, they had a bad drive, and then they weren't awake defensively and got marched on by a team that has been waiting to do this for so long, and they just didn't play hard. And then they got down 7-0. They're like, okay, yeah, no, we actually have to put forth some sort of effort if we want to win.
For the first time in my life, I muted our group text because we went down 7-0 to the Maine Black Bears, and the Matt and Ryan text messages came rolling in, and I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it against Maine. I can't. It's different when we're losing to Texas, right? Mm-hmm. That's a loss is going to come. That was a tough first two drives, right? When we get the ball and then they get the ball. Immediately after that, it starts to look right. And now I understand why all of us classic SEC schools schedule these games against FCS opponents late in the year. It is a get right game, man. You gotta, Rod Gilmore, the one correct thing he said today was you've got to build some confidence going into the 3-game stretch coming up. And I do agree with that. And I think that there were some pretty things to build on.
Yep. What are your overall thoughts, Pat?
Yeah, it was definitely a get right game. The first 2 drives I was very unhappy with. Obviously, there's a lot of things that went into that. The time of the day changed. The weather wasn't good, all those different kinds of things. So, bad start to the game, but came back strong, happy and pleased with most of the performance from everyone. Happy to see a lot of the younger guys get involved, especially on the offense with Xavier Robinson. So overall, fun game, get right game. Hopefully we can carry some momentum off of this.
Yeah, we'll start with the offense. The offense, I thought it was the Javante Barnes show for the vast majority of the day, as it should have been. He had a fantastic game. Looking at his stats, 203 yards rushing. What was his receiving? There he is. 1 catch for 19 yards, 18 carries, 203 yards, 11.3 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns, 74-yard run that marked him down at the 1-inch line or whatever it was. Javante's the story of the day. It's got to be. That was the first thing Brent said when he got to the podium post game, was congratulating Javante on the best game of his career.
Easily was. He looked like the Javante Barnes that we thought we were going to get 2 years ago when we saw him burst onto the scene. So it's what it should look like, but that's coming against Maine. Right. It's kind of a catch-22, right? Because it looks so freaking cool and good, and Javante is either powering through or running by or cutting around these guys. But, we're playing on easy mode.
Mm-hmm.
Pat, what do
not
you
only
think?
that.
Do you think? Yeah, go ahead.
Not only that, but our offensive line was able to compete today. Imagine if our offensive line was just average in the SEC, what Javante Barnes could have been doing all the season, right? Sure, he wouldn't have had 200 plus yards every single game, but he would have broken 100 yards a couple times probably by now because he is that good. So that just showed me if we had a competent offensive line, our running backs can produce.
I'm glad you said competent because we don't even have a competent offensive line, truly. They moved some people today, but if you go back and you watch that first drive, Jackson Arnold had people in his face almost immediately, like almost immediately when he's dropping back to pass, and that's crazy. That's just so crazy. They're not good, man. I don't know how many times we have to say it. They have a massive issue, and the Bill Bedenbaugh thing, the talk about Bedenbaugh, keeping him on staff, and all of that. Like, I think you're to the point now where you kind of have to, because you know what you have now, and it's bad. It's not going to be any better, I don't think. Um, but the talk that I heard this week about, you keep Bill on because he has the good offensive lineman coming in. Are those dudes going to play next year? Are they going to play?
They
Or
might.
they might have to, but like that's what we're hanging our hat on. Is like hopefully these freshmen immediately can play and immediately pan out. Like that's a scary place to be, man. I don't know what you do.
Yeah, but I think it's like, all right, either you stick with Bill and you let these guys get in here and develop, and maybe they play. Maybe it's one of the guys that we're seeing today, right? We saw a four
Yeah.
freshman lineup today with guys in the second half on the offensive line. So they're getting some guys in there against Maine, but it's either you stick with Bill, bring these guys in, and maybe they start for you as sophomores, or you fire Bill, these guys go somewhere else, and then you got to hit the portal again.
Yeah.
We've seen what that does in the offensive line, and it's just not sustainable for long-term top tier success. It's
Yeah.
band-aids.
Yeah. Pat, anything?
Overall, I liked the energy from the freshman on the offensive line. I don't know if you guys saw that video of EPL and the penalty he got
Loved
because
it.
he just kept running at it. Like I don't care.
Sure.
Keep going. That's the energy we need on the offensive line. Have some grit.
That also
That's ball.
that penalty also felt to me like I get it. You got to throw the flag, but also like you watch it back and he's already kind of off balance. And I think he made a business decision while he's falling to just be like, you know what? I'm falling. I'm going to take somebody like down as I'm doing it anyway. I'm fine with it. Like, whatever. You do that in a close game, going to be pissed off. But like right now, let some anger out. Whatever. Fine. I'm cool with it. Dude's probably mad he hasn't been playing because the dudes in front of him are trash. They're bad. And he gets in there and he's like, look, at least I'm going to come in here and play with some freaking attitude and some pissed off demeanor.
Yeah. I love that.
Easily JJ Hester's best game.
Crazy.
Easily.
Yeah.
He looked very smooth, very natural. He had several catches. I don't think he had any drops on the day. And the best one is the 90-yard bomb where he's just running by everyone. Jackson Arnold on the run to his right, scrambling.
It's a great throw.
Gets the ball off, and it is just exactly where it needs to be. And it's one of those flashes of what things should have been this season, what things could have been this season. I think there are several highlights we'll look at throughout the year and think about, damn, we this should have been better.
Yeah. There was a time I think it was a George Stoya tweet when Javonte Barnes went out in the first quarter, first half, like to get taped up or something. OU was without their 5 wide receivers, 4 starting offensive linemen, and like 2 running backs. Is just like crazy things, man. Like that's just nuts to me. But I liked what I saw out of JJ Hester today. There was a throw from Jackson, and I'm being nitpicky here. There was a throw from Jackson. He was throwing down the sideline to JJ Hester, and JJ had him beat, and Jackson just throws it out of bounds. Like it wasn't even close to JJ. It was just a deep shot. He's run down the sideline, and he doesn't even keep it in bounds. That was the one throw from Jackson where I'm like, all right, that could have been better, right? Like at least give the dude a shot. But the 90-yard throw, JJ ran that, but that's a hell of a throw from Jackson, like rolling to his right, stepping up into it. Just a pretty throw, man. That's just the kind of athleticism he has that is so impressive.
Yeah. I was going to mention that bad throw to JJ Hester too, because I
Good.
think
Okay. I'm glad I'm not imagining things. Okay.
No, I think we're still seeing too much of that from Jackson. We're seeing just as much of that as we are the good throws. And that has been throughout his career the issue with him and why he turns the ball over way too often. And we're not seeing progress on that front, and it's disappointing in my opinion. Yeah, he had a good game today, but it was against Maine. And
Mhm.
he needs, like, when he releases those long throws, he's got to give our wide receivers a chance every single time, and that's not the case.
We had
I-
another such play with Brennan Thompson being the recipient of a major overthrow today.
That was the one
And
over the middle, right? Like he's
I
running down the middle of the field.
It's sort of down the mid. It's not down the sideline, but it's
Right.
like it's
Right.
5-10 yards off the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. It was a crazy overthrow, and you just got to have some more discernment when you're releasing the ball that deep and be actively making a kind of decision about the throw you're going to make versus Brennan's down there somewhere and just toss it, because that's not working. It works with JJ Hester apparently one time, but
Mhm.
that's not like a real ability to throw the ball. That's just using tools still. And Jackson's a sophomore. He's got to get better at that.
I am shocked at the little amount that we saw Bauer Sharp today. I'm not mad at it.
Joe John
But this
heard us.
this had a prototypical feed Bauer Sharp game to it, and they didn't. And I'm glad. Shout out to Caden Helms, man. That's awesome. That's really cool for him. That's a
Very cool.
really cool moment for him. But yeah, I was very excited to not see Bauer Sharp as much. And also, like, I know Javonte Barnes was injured, and that's why Sam Franklin came in the game. That option that hits him in the hands and drops, that to me, you're done. I don't need to see any more from that. Like, that's crazy. Run Taylor Tatum and even Xavier Robinson out there. Run him out there as well. Like, that's insane, dude. You can't drop that ball.
Can't drop that ball. I'm surprised that he saw the field again after that versus a guy like Caleb Hicks, who we didn't see today, but
Yeah.
would have come in and probably not fumbled. I think we can play the odds on that. And then, man, Xavier Robinson looked every bit
He's fun.
the freaking part when he
He's
came
fun.
onto the field. And
He's
he's a
fun.
freshman, so I don't care that it came against Maine. That
Nah,
shit was
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that was
He
cool.
just gets a little bit low and busts through you.
Yeah. This is freaking sick. Did we see Jaquez Petaway at all today?
No.
No, and someone
It's all
needs to
Jacob
ask Brent
Jordan.
Venables what's going on with that.
You say
The-
someone
the
needs to
other-
or someone has?
Someone needs to.
Yeah, I don't know.
The unofficial 40 guys said it was because he doesn't know his plays.
Yikes.
And that
Right.
might be the case. I don't know Jaquez like that.
Yeah. Bro.
Back to Bauer Sharp real quick. If I put my conspiracy hat on, he just doesn't want to
Please do.
show anyone the Bauer Sharp plays that he has in
Yes.
his playbook. And that's
Yes.
why we didn't see Bauer Sharp today. He's hiding all that, and we're going to see it
This
again
is
next
real.
week.
Bauer
Do you
Sharp,
think you're going to pull it out against Missouri?
Yeah.
Wildcat quarterback. is
Jesus
coming.
Christ.
Throw the ball to Jackson Arnold. It's coming.
Dude, I can't. I just can't. I'm trying to think anything else on the offensive side of the ball I wanted to touch on. I thought when Michael Hawkins went in, I thought he played well for what it was. There's a slant pass, like you're trying to score, and you throw a slant, and I don't know if it was to Zion Kearney or the guy next to him. I couldn't tell which one. That's an 8-yard throw, man. You got to put that on the money. Like, I get it, you're a freshman. I'm not gonna harp on it too much, but you see that, and then you see kind of the stuff that Jackson did, and like we talked about, Pat, right? Like, you kind of take the good with the bad with Jackson because he can give you that rolling right, step up, throw to JJ that I don't know if Michael can right now. Like, yeah, Jackson's going to have some overthrows and some errant throws a little bit, but I mean, I think the arm talent's just better with Jackson right now. And that may be a year of development, who knows?
Hope so.
Yeah, we saw what Michael Hawkins. He's got all the tools in the bag and is still in apprenticeship mode. He's running out of the pocket every single time.
Yeah.
The throws show you how strong his arm is, but still how he's missing a little bit of that touch on the ball. He's going to get there.
He'll get
Hopefully
there.
it's in an Oklahoma uniform.
Yep. Hope so too.
My last thing on the offense is in 2 years when Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum are our backfield, that's scary for other teams.
That'll be
That's going
fun.
to be cool.
That'll be a
If
fun
they're
time,
sitting
man.
around.
Good point. Good call.
I think they will be. They're going to get enough carries and stuff that unless, the wheels just completely fall off and
Right.
their head coach and running back coach aren't there anymore. Okay,
Running back
over
coach.
over to the defensive side of the ball. The starters essentially allowed 7 points that on that first drive, and then the rest of the time they were stout, they were solid. I really I really liked what I saw out of the linebackers again. I thought they looked great. And RSJ caused or recover. Did he cause the fumble or just recover it?
Both.
He did both. Even better.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Man.
great. I
He's been a
love that
rock
play.
star.
Yeah, man. I love that play. Love that play a lot. Good return as well from Mr. Bowen. That looks
Yes.
really
Yes.
good.
Hold on that.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, Mr. Referee, just put
Yeah.
the flag away. Calm the hell down.
Yeah.
Put the flag away.
Yeah.
And then guys on the defense team, just stop tackling him.
Yeah.
Okay, let us have a Peyton Bowen touchdown.
For real.
Ridiculous.
For real. But yeah, I thought they looked good outside of the first drive. Obviously, the first drive not what you want to see. But I genuinely think they just were not awake. They thought they were gonna come out there and be able to sleepwalk through this thing, and like, nah, man, that team's gonna try to at least make a name for themselves. Be like, hey, remember when we were up on Oklahoma? Like they're gonna try to do that. So
Yeah.
I thought the defense obviously played well. There's not really a ton to say about them. You know, the offense is really what we're looking for, right? We're trying to see how the offense is improving and getting better. In the defense in a game like this, all you do is expect them to go out there and just not allow any points. And that they almost did that essentially.
It was
Yeah.
a good game. I mean, it's a good game, right?
Yeah.
The first drive is tough. It's ugly. It's not good. It's not what you want to see. They're just methodically making their way down the field in ways that feel like they shouldn't be happening, right? Guys are
Yeah.
open, and this PV dude is just running by our guys. That's not good. That doesn't feel good at all. But they get to the sideline, Zach Alley gets in their head, and we're fine. Defense is good. No problems there at all with the performance today. I do think that we saw a couple of times the corners not really make the right play here and there, but it didn't result in points. It was bending, not breaking. I mean, I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased with what we saw today. Jaden Jackson looks awesome.
Fun, man. He's a fun guy. He's a fun
So
guy.
great.
Patrick, shout out to you, man.
I know.
Good call. Good call.
Amazing. We got to find all those teams again and see where
Dude,
we're at.
I know,
Yeah.
we do.
Pat had Hawkins too. If
Did
you
he
just look at
really?
snap count, I think Pat probably wins this.
Dang. Good for you, Pat.
Thanks,
That's pretty impressive. Pat, anything to add on the defensive front?
Yeah, they came out like kids, right? They were just gonna breeze through this one, and that's okay. They corrected pretty quickly, so happy with that overall. Sucks they scored 14 points. I wasn't expecting that, but that's okay.
Yeah, the late touchdown, just
Right.
with the young guys in there. You know what's funny is even with the limited snap count that he had, Danny still led the team in tackles with 6. That's just funny to me. I don't know why. Because Danny, that 6 is not a big number. And like Jaron had 5, Billy Bowman had 4. And then like everyone else is like 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Like a million guys got in on tackles today, and still Danny is at the top. He's just everywhere all the time.
He's
Good for him.
everything everywhere all at once, man. He is in on every single play. He is around it. He's calling the plays on defense. Danny Stutzman is one of those dudes. As much as the commenters don't want him to be, he is one of those guys. He's really that good at football.
Had a sack. David Stone with a sack today as well. I
That's hot.
love that. Love
Getting
that
ready.
a lot. Huh?
Getting ready.
Absolutely getting ready.
They
do we
butchered
have any-
PJ Adabore's name. They
Oh, that
butchered
was
it.
fun. They're so bad.
They're really bad.
Yeah, it's tough.
Have we heard anything about PJ's injury after limping off the field?
I haven't.
seen
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
We'll probably hear that obviously when we get off there and get done. We'll see that they had it. But a lot of fun. Defense gonna have to have a similar result next week against Mizzou, which is going to be tough because they got some receivers that can run around the field. And we all know from talking that the secondary seems to be where we're struggling the most right now. And hopefully this game you can use as some teaching tape and figure some stuff out and try to be ready for next week. But man, going to be tough. Going to be tough next week for sure.
Definitely.
Gotta
Anything else?
Take a blanket for Theo Weiss.
Take a blanket. That's right. Take a blanket. Anything else, guys, on the defense? Cool. Let us know down below in the comments your thoughts on the offense and defense for the game, as well as give us your MVPs because we're about to give you ours right now. Patrick, who's your MVP, man?
Xavier Robinson. Really happy to see the production from him. He's got a really strong future.
That's cool, man. He was fun to watch today. He's just a big bowling ball out there. A lot of fun.
I made the comparison of P. Ryan when he committed, and I hope that stays true.
I saw people saying it today.
That's cool. That's fun.
Late in the game.
Everyone is 6 months behind Patrick. That's
right.
What we know.
They are, man. They just are. Mark, who's your MVP?
Javonte Barnes, super simple and easy. He had the kind of game you should have against Maine. 18 carries, 203 on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Obviously, that 74-yard touchdown makes 2 guys miss, and it's just off to the races. Probably should have scored on that one, but that's okay. That's all right. Clearly showed that he was the best player on the field and probably the best player in the offense this season. So Javonte Barnes, my MVP.
My MVP is all the young guys who got in today. I'm happy for those guys. They got the reps that they were going to need to improve and get a little better. I love being able to get the young guys in there. Shout out to Ryan Heil. I saw him tweet something just about. So I think we went up like 28-7 or something like that, and I think he started calling to like get all the young guys in. He's like, start doing it now. Like do it now. I just completely agree, man. It's just like do it now. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. Good win for the Sooners. Anything else before we get out of here, guys?
No.
Cool. We got a midweek pod for the people as we get ready for Missouri, and then we'll have a post-game pod for Missouri as well. Thanks for watching, listening to this post-game pod edition of the Program Guys podcast. You can like, subscribe on our YouTube channel, follow us on all of our social media at Program Guys with a Z, and you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. That's going to do it. We will see you midweek for the Missouri preview. That's going to do it. Pat, take us out, man.
Keep pushing it, baby.